Look, see, I told you. Oh!
Oh! Whoa!
I told you she was getting under her skin. Did I not say this?
Whoa!
Tuesday night, Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun. Third quarter, the Fever are up by 9. And then it happens. Caitlin Clark takes a hit to the eye from J.C. Sheldon, a familiar Big Ten rival. Moments later, she's sent to the floor after contact with Marina Mabrey. The whistle blows. Technical fouls. A flagrant one, but no ejections. It wasn't the first hit she's taken. And as many fear, it probably won't be the last.
One player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion, but not like this. A truly remarkable sports story continues.
Clark isn't just a player, she's a phenomenon. From her historic run at Iowa to being selected first overall by the Indiana Fever. Clark arrived in the WNBA carrying more than just a jump shot. She brought momentum, eyeballs, sponsorships, ratings, and with that, expectations.
This news is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA. At the end of this season, the WNBA will go into CBA negotiations. If negotiations go well, then every single player in the WNBA has a much better chance of making so much more in their next contract.
Let's go back to Tuesday night. Clark had just returned from a 2-week injury. She was starting to find her rhythm again. The Fever were up, and then she's caught in a physical exchange. J.C. Sheldon catches her in the eye, then Marina Mabrey's contact sends her crashing to the court. What followed wasn't outrage or protection. It was a shrug. No player was ejected. The game went on, and the headlines the next morning weren't about the Fever's win.
Was so much more optimistic going into this year because we had so much drama, and the media, I felt like, mishandled so many things with the WNBA last season, and specifically with Caitlin Clark and her fan base. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlin Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not.
This wasn't an isolated event. Since Clark entered the league, she's been subject to an unusual level of physical play. Some call it initiation, others call it something else entirely. Social media is flooded with slowed-down clips, heated debates, and think pieces.
Look, see, I told you. Oh!
Whoa!
Some say it's because she's a rookie with a target on her back. Others point to deeper, more complex tensions. About fame, about race, about legacy. The truth? Probably a little of everything. But what's undeniable is this. The reaction to these incidents is building. Online, fans are calling for Clark to leave. Not because they want her gone, but because they want her safe.
And physical. Foul. Oh. Yo! Yo, get out of here. Get out of here. Cheap shot. Just tackled her. Toss her. Oh, get out of here. Don't act tough. It's a punk move. That's a foul. A claw to the face. The total, look. Claw to the face. That's not the concern, really. Why is she jawing her after she clawed her? And then that's just like a cheap, that's just like a dirty play. You're a dirty player, plain and simple. Dirty play.
Her debut games set viewership records. Her jerseys sell out in minutes. Her social media following dwarfs that of entire franchises. The Indiana Fever's valuation has jumped since her arrival. Ticket sales are up. Sponsors are paying attention. The math is simple. Clark doesn't just play in the league. She moves the league.
Because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark and how they have treated her fans. Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever fans have been called every single name under the sun. They have been called out by players in the WNBA. The media has, I mean, you've seen it. We've talked about it here. You can't miss it on social media every single day. There is some media personality saying something bad about Caitlin Clark's fans, calling the fans names, saying that they are not there for basketball. They're just following Caitlin because she's white, or they're trying to push a certain agenda. Like, the narrative surrounding the biggest fan base to ever come to the WNBA have been actually insane. And then it goes as far as to the first game of the season, which was at Indiana against the Chicago Sky. Right after that game, they opened an investigation once again into the fans, where they found nothing, but the damage had already been done at that point.
And then there's the big three. Earlier this year, Ice Cube publicly offered Clark $5 million to play in his men's league, a 10-week commitment. She declined. Her reason? Respect for the WNBA. Focus on her rookie season. Commitment to the long-term growth of the women's game. But it was a signal to the basketball world. Clark has options, and those options are only multiplying.
But this is something that has happened over and over and over again. And over time, it starts chipping away at how much you're going to actually care and want to support an organization if they continue to do things like this. And that is why I've also just been preaching, like, the WNBA needs to focus on the things that really matter. The things that really matter are marketing the league property, marketing the players property, marketing their star players properly, especially Caitlin Clark, with the millions and millions of people that she has brought into the WNBA. And they also need to take care of the product on the court, because I'm sorry, whether you believe it or not, the majority of fans are here to watch good basketball. They are not watching the WNBA for any other reason.
This all creates a pressure the WNBA hasn't seen before. Clark isn't just a player. She's a brand, a movement, a new standard. And the league now finds itself caught between tradition and transformation. But what's clear is that Caitlin Clark is at the center of something much bigger than a rookie season. So what now?
But I get so frustrated as to why the media and the WNBA just mismanaged the situation the way that they did. Because I do actually think, if just think in an alternate world, if last season all these new fans that came in, just think if they were welcomed into the league, if there wasn't people online, if there wasn't media personalities saying that Caitlin Clark fans are ruining the league, this was so much better without them. Like, think if that stuff wasn't happening. Think if the WNBA did a better job and put more resources into getting better referees and tightening up on the rules. Think if the WNBA put more resources into marketing players properly and not trying to put one player down in order to lift up other players. Like, if all of those things, if they were running like a business should be ran, just think of how much differently so many of these new fans who suck, how they would have felt about the WNBA.
Clark hasn't made any public demands. No ultimatums, no veiled threats. But those around her, fans, analysts, insiders, are all speculating.
Caitlin Clark's treatment by other players on the court is just getting to be egregious. Because as we saw Trinity Carter, she hip-checked Caitlin Clark from behind. At the same time calling her the B word. You could see Angel Reese over on the sideline cheering. This is treatment that Caitlin Clark is receiving for very specific reasons. I think we really need to focus on the race part of all of this, because I do believe that if Caitlin Clark were this amazing and she were not white, nobody would have an issue with it. They probably would be propping her up, celebrating her greatness. And another question that I keep asking myself when reading the coverage on this is, what would happen if the roles were reversed? What if this was a bunch of white players and there was another player who entered the league of Caitlin Clark's stature and she was black and she was getting this type of treatment? I mean, you can only imagine the outrage that would ensue. But because Caitlin Clark is white, because it's the idea of this reverse racism that people want to turn a blind eye to, nothing's being done about it.
Could she walk? Would she go overseas? Might she create something entirely new? The answer for now is no.
What did I say to her? I said, I sure am glad you leaving. I said, girl, you something else.
Could she walk? Would she go overseas? Might she create something entirely new? The answer, for now, is no. The WNBA has made strides. It's grown in viewership, in sponsorship, in talent. But now it faces a critical test. Can it adapt fast enough to support and retain the very stars driving its success? Clark isn't asking for special treatment. She's not above the game. But if the physicality continues unchecked and the support lags behind, she may be forced to reevaluate, not out of ego, but out of necessity.
And like I said, a lot of these new fans not only love players now on the Indiana Fever, but they also love players on every single other team. But you also can't force fans to watch a style of basketball or a person that they don't particularly like their style of play. We can even compare it to the NBA now. We have the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder in the NBA Finals, and if you guys have been watching those games, it is some of the best basketball that we have seen in the NBA in years. It is great games. Honestly, these entire playoffs have been so good. It's close games. Both teams are playing defense. Both teams are shooting well from the outside. It's fast-paced. There's young players. Yet the NBA ratings this year in the NBA Finals are down significantly.
Caitlin Clark came to the WNBA with a dream to play, to grow, to help elevate the game, and she's doing all of that and more. But now, as each game unfolds and each headline trends, the league faces a choice. Embrace this moment, protect its players, evolve its culture, or risk losing the very future it's trying to build. The next move? It isn't Caitlin's. It's the league's. Because if she ever decides to walk, she won't be walking alone.